Good morning, everyone. This is Rama on Writing coming to you live from a beautiful, well, soon to be beautiful, Kailua Kona, Hawaii. This will be my last webinar from Hawaii until the summertime. Next webinar will be back in beautiful, sunny Sedona. Well, today we have a special treat. We have Anaria with the Crystalline stellar skulls. And as I was mentioning before we started, this is an interview that I've been really looking forward to from the moment that I realized that Anaria was writing the Crystal Skull book. I have done some research on my own, and I have sat with the most famous of the crystal skulls, which is the Mitchell Hedges one. And this morning or yesterday, I did a little bit of research, and there's a lot of confusion. There are no answers, let's put it that way. And so we have an expert here to provide us with insight that is not available elsewhere. And I really want to stress that Anaria's, presentation is different than what's out there, in the internet and out there in reference books. So this is exciting. And I know that there were some concerns of hers along the way, but we're going to let her talk about that. First off, Anaria, why don't you give us your full name, your website, and then tell us why you wrote this book.
I sure will. I'm writing under the name of Terra Rae, and I don't use Terra Rae. I don't use Anaria anywhere. I use Terra Rae, and I use I've just, since I started writing, actually since I put the website together, which I've had a while, and it's a pretty elaborate website and fun because it's full of the stellar skulls. And there's slideshows with music and funny blogs and a lot of information, all my articles, newsletters, because I've been doing newsletters for a few years. And I'll give you a little bit of the story. There's a lot of the story in the book. I too had met, I think, Mitchell Hedges skulls, the Shana Na and Max, but that was years and years ago, even decades, we'll say. I haven't really read much of their materials. When the crystalline skulls started coming to me, that was it. And I said yes. I had to say yes. And they started flooding to me. And the difference on this is there's a huge difference between these skulls and, we'll say, the Atlantean skulls that are the ones you find, the ones they have found in the Yucatan. And I will tell you some of the story. And because the crystalline skulls, one of the main differences is, and this is what I asked my guides, because as soon as the skulls came in, there were certain guides that were assigned to me and to us to start working with them and such. And yet even they, it had been so long that they had worked with these. And yet many of you who are watching this have worked with these skulls in the ancient past. And that is for sure. And all of the other skulls that have came up, first of all, they were brought, the Atlantean crystal skulls were brought into the Yucatan actually right before the deluge of Atlantis going down. Atlantis and several other civilizations, the Uriger and the Sumerian civilization all went down. So they were taken there and hidden to be brought up at this time frame, which actually within the last 100 years to now. And the reason they were programmed to be brought up at that time is they hold a fifth dimensional energy. And the planet was still very much in what I call lower octave 3D at the time. And this was to start setting up a grid on the planet to awaken people to the fifth dimensional beings that they actually are. Because before Atlantis went down, we all of these civilizations resonated from what I call high octave 4D up through all the way through 5D into mid sixth dimension, depending on where you were and what you were doing. And you were all there. And once the deluge happened, which was taken, bottom line, just taken down by the dark. Okay, I'll call them the dark hats. And once they were taken down, we were taken down, we all spun down to a lower octave 3D. We didn't know who we were. We didn't have our connection to source. We weren't channeling in anything. And this is when what I call the dark hats, they call them, there's a lot of names for them. I call them the wizards. And the dark wizards came in and said, oh, far out, we will be the gods from this point on. And we are getting our slave planet together here. And this is hard for people to understand, because the next thing I'm going to say is that from that point on, everything on this planet was infiltrated by the dark side in a very big way. It's why over the last 1,000 years, 2,000 really, it's been horrific here. And those of us in the light, our job has been to wake ourselves up and wake others up. And this actually has not been an easy thing and to do. It's taken a long time because, as I said, the infiltration. Okay, now, the crystalline stellar skulls, it's in their name, crystalline, all right? As we awaken, we're moving into our fifth and sixth and seventh dimensional forms now, all right? But we're moving, I always tell people, just pass up 4D right now because the dark side's taken it over. And this is where all of the dark energies are coming in, the movies, the books, anything that they're working from. And let me tell you right now, it's big. So this is why I tell people, use a lot of protection. I put it right in my book. Use it and use it every day. And keep yourself shielded, protected, especially if you're doing meditations, because you pass through 4D to get to 5D, to get into those wonderful states of being. And you're a target, okay? And this was shown to me 30 years ago, actually by Saint Germain. And when I asked why, because I had the Circles of Light Network events in Marin County for many years. I had a radio program. I was a networker. I sponsored many of the spiritual beings, and as they were coming through and awakening and so forth and writing. And a lot of people were getting sick, and they'd get sick for long periods of time. And so I asked Jermaine, why are they getting sick? And he says, because you're all meditating and you're all passing through 4D and you're not protecting yourself. And at that time, when we were on the West Coast, I was on the West Coast in Marin. And for example, and I'm telling you these things purposely, and for example, at that time, the Russians who work in a psychic way completely different than we do here in the United States, would work in groups to hit the area to try to break up the fault lines, take down Silicon Valley, and we were in the crossfire, okay, as well as send it over to wherever there's big pockets of light. That is still happening, but it's gotten bigger, all right? So this is why I just can't stress enough to keep yourself safe and protected, and your family, and your house, your car, your electronics, everything. Once you get the system down, it's a piece of cake. You got it. It's set up. You're in. You just call that light in every day, and because this is who you are. And the Merkaba idea, this is what you were originated through, was a Merkaba, and you had your own Merkaba. They were all taken. These are the kind of things I talk about in the book, because the stellar skulls showed up, and everything changed. I mean, my life, and yet then I realized everything was set up, right down from even when my folks left the planet, because they were all in on it. They were part of it. I jumped into my mother when she was pregnant with a boy, and because, as Merlin said, you pointed right there and said, okay, I need to get in there at this time with that family. He says, I made sure you did. I even know who the boy was, that he had to head over to the East Coast to a different family. And some of you have done things like that. You just don't know it because you've been so shrouded. Now, back to the stellar skulls. These incredible beings of light, okay? These beings work in, when I first started playing with them and working with them, I asked them, what dimensions do you like to work in? And they said to me, we work in more dimensions than you could possibly fathom. And I was like, whoa, awesome. Yes. And right then I thought, this is it. This is what I've been asking for, because I kept asking for tools to assist the entire planet and everybody on it. And they knew it. And I've worked with them so much in the past, and that they have already been assisting me all through this life, as they have with some of you, and to assist in waking you up, because they're here to awaken, to clear, to keep you happy, on, bubbly, vibrant, healthy, and safe. Big protection they provide if you call them in, and awaken you to who you really are. And that's exciting, because when you really start finding out who you are and how freaking powerful and magnificent you are and can be, sometimes what we have found, because we work with clients, we clear them, there's a whole matrix all of us have been put in, I'll call it, filled with devices, transmitters, strange and wondrous creatures, characters. We clear this off and around people. And unfortunately, a lot of the light workers think, oh no, I'm around so much light, that couldn't be me. And boy, that makes them the biggest target. And which is exactly what the other side wants. We're busting this grid. We're busting this matrix in a big way. And the skulls have come to help that and to awaken you, like I said, and activate your glands, because your glands are your key. It's the key to who you are out in the universe as well, who your family is, where you really came from, and what you're programmed to be doing. And what we find out so much is when we clear somebody, one of the things we then do is we start activating their skills and abilities of where they've been highly trained in the past. And it's why all of these nefarious things have been put on us to keep us from knowing who we truly are like this. And so when we start to show them who they are, who they've been, what they've done, that's almost harder than looking at all of this stuff that's been on them, because they go, how could that be me? And they go, this is you. This is you. This is who you've been. And you're a master creator. You've been told that only God creates. You don't create. And we want you to see your creations and how you did it so you can do it again and do it here on Earth. Because right now, Gaia needs every bit of our help and every light on and fully working. And so the skulls have come in and to do this game and to do this dance, because they are sentient beings of light. They only work with the light, for the light, around the light. They're the galactic team, and when I speak of the galactic team, that's the archangels, ascended masters, and the Galactic Federation that we work with, and they call them angels on Earth, although they now work with them as well. And because they can work in all of these different dimensions, all you have to do is see them, call their name, and they're there. They are sitting right there with you. They're across the room. They're that sparkle light that's in the corner. Kids can see these, and which is really great. Some people, once they start getting clear, they can see them, and it amps up your life. It makes your life richer, fuller, and you feel safer, more protected. And because there's interference coming in so many different ways right now. And I'm not going to go into all of it. Some of it I've only just touched on it just in the book because of the level that we're playing. We're exposing a lot, and so I'm taking it very slow because I need to stay on the planet alive, along with the rest of the tribe. And so do you, all of you do. And those of you who are writing, for example, anything galactic, anything that is going to change somebody's life to the positive, gee, I wonder who that is, like all of you maybe, you're under the gun. Okay, and because this is what's known as the end times, the revelation. You can call it anything you want, and everybody's pulled out all the stops, and they want to stop the people on Earth because they want this for a slave planet, and they want all the resources. And a lot of us of light have come in here and said, no, as long as I'm not going to let it happen, even if I can't figure it out, my light, I will bring my light here. I'll plant myself somewhere where I'm living on one of the grids where I can awaken myself and others and the Earth. Because the Earth needs help, this whole solar system needs help right now in a very big way. All right? And the skulls have come to help do it and show you how to do it. And it's not hard. You know, there's like passages in the Bible, for example, that like Yeshua would say, you're going to do so much more. You will do this and more. And the truth of it is, when you start to awaken and realize your capabilities, and when enough of us awaken, and it is happening, we are changing the planet in a dramatic way. And because you're hearing a lot now about the new Earth, Terra Christa, Terra Nova, doesn't matter what you call it, all right? We call the new Earth Terra Christa because it's going to be a Christed energy of the Christ consciousness. And that's what crystalline energy is the Christ consciousness of light. Because that's what we were created from. And that's what we're bringing back onto the planet now. And in a very big way. And so the new Earth, we're going to be able to create this. It's not something that, it's being created over there and then I'll go. That's not it, gang. We're going to co-create it. Co-create it with us, with the masters, with our brilliance, with what we've done before, with the crystalline stellar skulls, because they're a big part of it. It's part of what they came here for, is the ascension, is first contact, and so that we can have the new Earth. And there are many beings on this planet that don't want it, and they want it for them. And things are changing daily right now in the whole political arena and what's happening all over. And so the Atlantean skulls have been doing their job, or the Yucatan skulls, or the big crystal skulls that have come up from Atlantis to hold this grid. But the other thing about them is they don't talk. You can sit with them and you can be with them. And as our skulls have pointed out to us, is that they knew if they came to me and now to my family around me, that we would bring them out to the world. We're not charging a hell of a lot of money for you to come and be with one, sit with one. And now all of the other big skulls, just to even be with them, and like, okay, we're going to do a workshop where you can come and sit and meditate. They're charging a lot of money for this, and which has closed them off. It's like, so I'll tell you a great story. I got a lot of them. Some of them are in the book, just the beginning of them, and but you're going to get the idea. And I tell people, just get the book. Have the skulls in your house. You want this level of light, energy, protection around you, your family, your kids. Just have them there. Have a picture, and talk to them. And because this is what they've come for. And because they're like angels, they multiplicate just like the angels do. Just like, for example, Archangel Metatron can be everywhere if he needs to be. And he's been stretched pretty thin these days. And the skulls can be everywhere too. They can be all over. They can be with everybody if they're called. And so we're sending them everywhere all the time. We do all kinds of things with the skulls. And because we get the ideas. And I thought, this is it. If this could stimulate the people to get some ideas to work for themselves, get their writings cleared, get the inspiration on, activate everybody around them to stay safe, healthy, strong, and protected right now, so that you can bring through the creations of light right now. Because, boy, they're ready to explode through, but there's all kinds of veils trying to keep them from you. I can guarantee. And the skulls can pierce the veils, all right, where other things and people can't. I wish more could. And we're activating everything we can to make it so. And it's working. And we need more people working with them, because once you even have a picture of one, let alone a book even in the house or with you, we're creating a grid of light, a very powerful seventh dimensional grid of light with the stellar skulls all around the planet. And we already have a grid that we work with, a very, very powerful one. And we send plenty through it. And this is how we're working. We work on the planet, off the planet. That's why the Federation works with us. And so does Merlin, because he's able to work through the timelines and clear things, clear this dark wizardry. And we have Saint Germain, I call him Flame, and we have Archangel Metatron, who's Tron to me, and Michael is always around us, and Yeshua and the Marys are always with us, Kuan Yin, Lady Master Nada, and you'll get to know some of them also in the book and how we work and how we play. And I put in several, I think four different activations in the book, because we've opened up new portals of light for the first time in this universe, and that the team is so ecstatic about. Because what a lot of people also don't understand is, they go, well, why don't they just come in, and why don't they just clear everything and do it? And they can't. They have to work with you and through you to do it. You have to ask. And this is a free will zone. Same with the skulls. You have to ask them to come in. Ask them right through your heart, because they only work through the heart. And they're not going to work if let's say a dark character thinks they're going to use them for their means. It won't happen. They just shut down. They just become null. And in the meantime, they're getting spotlit big, because they love the spotlight. So even if there's, let's say, characters around and you're not sure, like it sounds good, but you're not quite sure, call in a skull. Tell them, go spotlight that person. Spotlight anybody around me who has hidden agendas, so I can see what's really going on. And they will. They love that part. So just to give you another, this skull here is one that's in the book. And I just love her. And she's from, by the way, I didn't tell you this piece yet. They're from here, but they're actually from the origin universes, which are the universes, and there's only a handful of them, that were before our time-space universe that we live in now. Okay? That's where they're from. That's how old they are. They're ancient beings. And some of us are. And I talk about that in the book. I get right into it. And that'll be the next book, I'm pretty sure, are Who Are the Magdalens? Because the Magdalens are from those universes. Most people don't have a clue about Magdalens yet. This book is introducing them. Okay, and I've written several articles. One was published in the Sedona Journal, the Star Beacon, the Psychic Magic magazine. So this gal, she is called Uplifting Light of Crystal and Divine Light. She's from both the red and the crystalline universe. There's red, golden, crystalline, clear, blue, pink, green, rainbow, and then even those universes started getting hit. Some were actually destroyed. So then we created, remember? We created like the crystalline and the red, the golden and the red. And some of those have been hidden. And right in the very beginning when I met the skulls, I said, well, then why can't we call them in? Why can't we get those beings and that energy from those incredible places? And they said, oh, no, we can't do that yet. And they said, the time is going to come soon that we can, but not yet. And people aren't allowed to go there yet. And I thought, okay, I understand this. Well, then it was through a client, because these things always happen, that we found a key. She had created the key. She created it on another planet before Earth was even created, called Avalon. And she saw the dark taken over then. And Avalon is where the first Camelot was. And a lot of the firsts, for example, Lemuria, Camelot, Atlantis, were on these other places that most of you have been, okay? And when we came to Earth, we recreated them here to try to get it right. Unfortunately, it hasn't worked real well. That although we've anchored in some of it, because it was usually about anchoring in the light and the Christ consciousness energy. All right. And I explained some of this now in the book in right from the origin of how it all came to be. And I know this is going to be very controversial. People are going to say I'm out of my mind. Doesn't matter to me. I don't really care what people think of me. It's actually none of my business. And
Terra Rae, I want to, just get this first recording closed down so that you can utilize it. So before we go on, tell us the name of the book and give us your website address.
Oh, yes. Okay. The name of the book is Crystal and Stellar Skulls, Who Are They Really? By Terra Rae of Team Earth. That's our group. Our galactic team named us. And so I've been using it. And the website is stellarskulls.com. STELLARSKULLS. stellarskulls.com. Simple, easy.
Okay, Terra Rae, I'm going to stop this recording, move over to a different computer. I have a bunch of questions. I'm sure that a lot of people do as well. So
okay, cool.
let me just stop it now.